a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Well, actually, it was a few weeks ago now, and it's still a behind the scenes episode, y'all. Hey everybody, Chris here. So this will be our last behind the scenes episode for a bit because we are going to be getting together and recording some new content. So hopefully it'll be out very soon. In the meantime, you can hear the rest of the conversation that Hope, Colton, Charles, and Jess had. And just a quick reminder, this is an E for explicit podcast.
So, moving on to the next question, to kind of scoot us along. This one's from Biohazard. What is your favorite non-High Republic Star Wars book?
I'm answering
traitor.
I'm answering first because I don't trust Colton. It is Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover. I needed to get that in before Colton did because there was a 50-50 chance Colton was also going to say that book.
You can have the same favorites. It's not a
No,
contest.
you can't. Yes, it is.
Yes, you can.
No.
Which, fun fact, during our Legends block at the end of last year, because we were standing in solidarity with the strikes, I recorded an episode on Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover, with my friend Andy at a One Hat Town off of Force Friends Rewatch and Rebel Legion about that book. So I love that book. It is my favorite non-High Republic Star Wars novel. I don't care that it's not canon technically anymore. It's one of the best written pieces of Star Wars literature ever in my entire life. And I think that Colton's answer also is the same author.
Yes, it is. And it is the best piece of Star Wars media. Sorry, but Traitor takes the cake because it has the Yuzan Vong.
It's New Jedi Order Traitor, by the way, is the book that Colton is referencing, is New Jedi Order Traitor, which can be read independently. You do not have to have read the entire New Jedi Order series to get to Traitor. You can just pick Traitor up and read it.
For someone who hates the Yuzan Vong, you really answered that question a lot for Colton.
It's a good book!
It is the book that best shows the Yuzan Vong, because a lot of the Yuzan Vong aren't portrayed as necessarily as well as I'd like them to be in the New Jedi Order. But it's fantastic. There's also a worm's point of view, like several scenes from a big worm. It's great. Best book, 10 out of 10. No notes.
Jess?
Jess? Mine's, I think, would have to be Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil by Timothy Zahn.
I knew you were going to pick a Thrawn book. I just didn't know which one.
Because, fun fact is that me and the other Root Palps hosts did get to read that book early because, we got it as an arc. And then I did read Lesser Evil 3 times before it came out. So, and we kept making jokes. We're like, wow, I think Jess, besides editor Tom, who was the editor for that book, and Timothy Zahn, has read Lesser Evil probably the most times. Since then, since Lesser Evil's come out, I did read it 3 more times within the last couple years since it came out. So I've read it in total 6 times. I bet there's people on just Twitter now who've read it more times than me, but before it came out, I had read it 3 times because I was crazy. I was just like, wow, that was so good. Let me just read that again. Wow, that was so good. Let me just read that one more time before it comes out, just to prove to everyone that I could read a book 3 times within a month. And I enjoyed Thrawn's character a lot in that book. I also really liked the side characters a lot more. Sorry to Thrawn, but Thalius and Simacro, I think about you guys a lot. Sammy, I miss you. But yeah, If I hadn't answered Lesser Evil, I probably would have just said, Thrawn 2017 because that's the Eli Vanto book. Eli Vanto,
Damn
my
good book.
beloved. Unless they come up with a book about Commander Cody, yeah, it's the Thrawn books for me.
Hey, Lucasfilm, I'm still available. Like, I'm constantly available. I'm here. You can email, you can DM me.
Same.
You know where my DM is.
So Thrawn 2017 is very far up there for me. It's probably in my like top 5, but the book that just brings me so much joy is Thrawn Alliances because it is a trash crack canon fan fiction comedy road trip with villains. And it's amazing because it's just Thrawn and Annovator trying to outpiss each other. And they can't because they're just dumb boys. And off to the side, you have Keeman and Rook having to outpiss each other, and they can't because they're dumb boys. And then you have Karen and Padme actually getting shit done because women. And I love this book. The fact that Keeman and Rook have a Monty Python scene where Keeman's like, well, we're the First Legion, and Rook's like, I didn't vote for you.
I also just love in that book all the times where like Thrawn is kind of like hinting to Vader, like, my bestie Anakin Skywalker, and Vader's just like, well, that sucks. Anakin's dead, and it's just like,
It's 300
I know you're
pages
Anakin.
I
It
love
is 300 pages of Thrawn just going, Anakin.
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 It's like, Anakin says what, and Vader being like, what?
What?
I love the journey of Timothy Zahn trying to write women. Because early Timothy Zahn, and even as late as Outbound Flight, and Colton and I complained about this heavily, he didn't know how to do it at all. And then we get to like Alliances, and we get to the Ascendancy trilogy. It's like, oh no, you've discovered that you have one very specific type of female character that you know how to write, which is a girl boss.
Yeah.
And you've just decided to write a bunch of girl bosses. And you
And
know
I'm
what,
fine
Timothy?
with that.
That's fine.
It
Yeah,
works
I'm
for
okay with
Karen
that, yeah.
Farrow. It works
That
for Karen.
works.
It really does.
It works for
But I-
Arlani too.
It really does. And I love that book. Like, Lucasfilm, like, let me write the Commander Keeman, Grand Inquisitor, Hands of Vader book. It's called The Hands of Vader, and it's about them essentially their day-to-day having to serve Darth Vader and be, like, drunk half of the time. Please let me write the story. But I love Commander Keeman. I might be the only Commander Keeman fan in the entire world because I've written so many fan fictions about him. I've given him a first name. I made up a planet. I made his family. Let me write his story, please. I love Commander Keeman.
As the world's only Kit Repso fan, apparently, I do feel this.
You get it. You get it. You get it. Yeah.
Although I will say thank you, a recent High Republic piece of media, for introducing everyone else to the question I've been asking for the last 2 years. The fuck is Kip So? Where is he? Why is he not here? Why did he disappear? Apparently a lot more people will be asking that question. I will say no more.
So, our last question before we shift into the new rules. in the
Don't we
back
have
of
2
this.
more here?
I'm looking at time.
Okay.
That first one's from me. It's fine. Is there any aspect? This is from Instagram. Is there any aspect of the High Republic that you've disliked so far? Or I guess let me rephrase this. What's your hot take?
It is fucking impossible to get people started on the High Republic because of the goddamn reading order. Like, I have
It's
tried.
the Kingdom Hearts effect.
I have
This is
tried
Kingdom
multiple
Hearts.
times. Here's my specific problem with the reading order. I love the High Republic. I've consumed it multiple times. One of my biggest problems that I've encountered isn't even the broad overarching, because once you're into it, it doesn't matter. You'll adjust. By the time you hit about midway through phase 1, you'll figure out how to read the High Republic. You'll figure out how to kind of read it out of order. You'll figure out what works for you. Getting people started, is really fucking hard because where do you start? Because technically, you should start with Light of the Jedi. Because Light of the Jedi is kind of the pilot episode. It sets up a lot of the major characters. It sets up the world. It sets up Markion Ro. It sets up Lena So. It sets up the Jedi. It sets up all of this. Light of the Jedi is kind of the least interesting of the books. And I hate to say that because it is a really good book. And I think Charles Soule is a really good writer.
Disagree.
It's the least, like... It suffers so heavily from pilot syndrome. It suffers so heavily from introducing these characters that we don't have time for the character moments in things like Rising Storm, Falling Star, or even some of the YA and middle grade books. Versus, like, Into the Dark. Into the Dark doesn't tell you shit about the world. But it's a much better look at, like, the type of story that the High Republic is going to tell. That it's a much more character-focused story. So do you start with Light of the Jedi, which is going to set up the elements? Or do you start with Into the Dark, which is going to be probably a better tonal introduction? Do you start with the chronological order for Phase 1, which starts with a comic in the High Republic Adventures anthology? Do you start with the Starlight Stories short story? Do you start people with some of the comics? Like, if you start people with High Republic Adventures, again, that's not going to tell you shit about what's going on. The High Republic Adventures you can read without necessarily needing to read any of the others, but there's parts of it you're going to be lost. There's parts of it you're going to be confused. So, like, especially when I'm introducing the High Republic to people, the question is, like, where do you start? How do you get this ball rolling? You can't start with the mainline High Republic comics, because that is literally a sequel to Into the Dark, which you have to have read first. I guess fucking not Mission to Disaster, I guess fucking A Test of Courage? Maybe, but, like, I don't know. This has been my big complaint about the way the early High Republic is set up. Is that, like, how do you get people to start? Because I know a lot of people who started reading Light of the Jedi and were like, yeah, that's pretty good, and then never read anything else from it. And so, I don't know, that's an issue I have with it. And I keep telling people, like, basically you have to get to Rising Storm. And once you get to Rising Storm, you're in it. But it's so tricky to try to figure out, like, do you do it chronologically? Do you do it in release order? Because release order's fucked. Do you do it in, like, some random order that somebody made up for you? Like, how do you do that? How do you get people into this? Where do you start with Kingdom Hearts? Do you start with Kingdom Hearts 1? Can you do that?
Or do you go chronological? Like, it's not even for a while there, Birth by Sleep was the first one, and then they came out with the thing that came out, like, the mobile game that's even earlier than that. Yeah, it's the Kingdom Heart issue, but, like, I don't think it's as egregious as Kingdom Hearts, because, you know, if you just skip Birth by Sleep and you play Kingdom Hearts 3, you have no idea who the fuck Aqua, Vin, and Terra are. And there's really no explanation of who they are, really. I don't know, they give a little bit of explanation, but, like, you know, it's just like, wow, this really blue-haired lady is awesome. Where the fuck did she come from? I don't think it's quite as egregious as Kingdom Hearts, but I call it that. Hey Jess, what's your High Republic hot take that you dislike?
That's a good question. I guess it would be my opinion on, like, what my favorite, like, stories I think are.
That's fine.
There definitely are, like, some things where people are like, oh, this is the best story or book in the High Republic, and I'm just like, heh. But I keep my mouth shut because, you know, I don't like stirring up problems. Although I did jokingly say on the first day of this year that I was like, new year, worse me, I'm gonna cause problems on purpose now. So actually, I could also, like, mention, like, my takes on certain ships that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, this is the best ship, and then me, I'm like, again,
go on, I want to know. Go on.
Like, one, I don't care about Elzar and Avar.
Thank you.
I do not
I'm so
care.
happy. I feel so seen right now. Firebrands are so boring. Thank you.
I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I don't see it with them.
They're so vanilla.
Which, if you like that, that's fine.
Well,
That's fine.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it after reading one of the later books. I get it. I'm not personally invested in it, but
I will say a lot of this stems from that I don't like Avar or Elzar, really. I find them, like, I understand how they function like, as characters. I understand, like, what their story arc, and I understand aspect. They just bore me. They're just really boring to me, though.
yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, I fully understand, like, having a hot take on a piece of media. My favorite Star Wars movie is Star Wars The Last Jedi. And my favorite High Republic novel is The Fallen Star. So I'm between those two things, I walked into a Legends convention and was like, my favorite movie is The Last Jedi. And I understand, which it actually did not cause any problems.
Yeah.
To come in and say that. I will say Legends Con was a very cool experience. However, I am used between those two things to having to defend my personal opinions on pieces of media.
I can say that I think that Avar's story arc is incredibly well written and one of the best written story arcs of the High Republic that also bores the fuck out of me. Both are true. Colton, you're not very far in the High Republic, so do you have any hot takes of anything
Yes,
you've been disliking?
I have a hot take.
Okay.
I want to hear it.
And this is for context. I have read 3.1 things that take place in the High Republic, which is Light of the Jedi, Into the Dark, and Rising Storm, and then also a extra little bit of Dark Droids comic, the D Squad, that takes place in the High Republic for like 3 panels, where Loden Greatstorm
My baby.
murders a bunch of sentient droids because he's a monster.
He's my baby. Good job.
No, bad job.
He's so
Terrible.
handsome.
He deserved what happened to him.
There's a hot take. There's a hot take.
I'll fucking fight you. That's my husband.
There's a
That
hot
caused me
take.
literal
He
trauma.
murdered my husband, so you know what?
Okay.
Anyway,
Bringing it back.
Husband fight.
sequencing. There are no named droid characters in the High Republic.
Not that
At
you've
least
seen.
of the 3, at least that I've not seen.
Okay,
3
so
books have gone by.
wonderful news for you.
Yes.
Wait, you read Rising Storm. Does Ty Yorik's droid not appear in Rising Storm?
No, Ty York bitches about her droids the entire book, and they do not get mentioned.
Okay.
That's why I posted when I
You're
read.
gonna love the middle grade books.
Yeah, the middle grade books
The
are
middle
like,
grade
hee hee,
books-
we have our fun droid characters.
The middle grade
Cool.
books have droids. There's a very important droid in the mainline High Republic comic series. Ty Yorick has a droid who is a pretty prominent character in Ty Yorick stories that aren't Rising Storm. And actually,
Sure.
Ty Yorick is wrong about this droid. You will love this droid.
Excellent.
There
But yeah,
are
no,
there are droids, some droids in the in Phase 2, and shout out to a droid that I can tell you nothing about. But if you have read the High Republic Adventures in Phase 3, you know exactly what droid I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
The most amazing droid. You're gonna get to this Phase 3 droid, and you're gonna be like, "This is the best droid."
Okay.
You're
Good to know.
Droids are there. They're not as. Oh, and there's one that's gonna be introduced in the Fallen Star, who's also fucking amazing, and is a pretty prominent character throughout the book.
Okay.
So they're
Yeah.
there.
They're
You just
common.
haven't gotten to
There.
them.
You just haven't gotten to them yet.
well, they,
I would definitely I really do think you're gonna love Ram's character, Colton. Ram loves droids. I'm actually gonna tell you, he sees the Force through technology and like circuits and like, which is why he reminds me a lot of Coriel.
Oh, yeah,
and
then, yeah.
and he loves droids, and he has a droid, and I think you're really gonna like that character when you get to him.
cool. Okay. Then I will dial back my hot take.
I do think it's a valid take though. Like when the first thing we ever saw of this franchise is 3PO and R2. Like
Yeah.
I think it's a very valid take.
Where it's just like, where's the droids?
I will say something that's nice about the High Republic being its own universe, as opposed to a linear series. One of the ways that this has worked really well is having different characters that different people can resonate. Like, we talked before how none of us are super enthused about Elzar and Avar. However, there are people who are really into those characters, and those characters exist for a reason. Those characters are fulfilling an archetype, and they're doing an excellent job of it that scratch that particular niche. But then you also have characters like Leox Gyasi and Geode, or you have characters like Markion Ro and Lorna D.
Scaring
and the
all
Nile.
the fucking.
Like, you have these different types of characters who can appear. You have somebody like Ty Yorick who exists for me specifically. So
Listen, Skier is so precious to me.
the nice thing about High Republic is it's so broad and the storytelling is so different. You can have a character like Sav Mulligan is not a character who could exist in the mainline novels. There just would not be space for this character to have the room to breathe that this character has. And yet, Sav Mulligan is such an interesting character who, because they're in the High Republic Adventures, a story that's more designed for that and is going for a different tone than the more Arthurian Knights vibe of the mainline novels, that's something that character gets to explore. So I think that's a really nice thing about the High Republic is that you can say, like, well, I need quirky droid characters. Okay, they're not in sort of the main novels very much, at least the first two, but there are other stories in which they feature. There's room for all of those different types of characters, which is something that's very nice about the High Republic. And also plenty of room for characters of multiple genders, characters who are people of color, characters who are various flavor of queer, which is also a really cool thing about the High Republic being this broad thing. There is space for everyone because Star Wars is for everyone, not just shitty dude bros on Twitter.
Except for
who
women, they
know what
don't
the fuck
exist.
Yeah, obviously there are no women Star Wars fans. They are not real because these men have not interacted with them.
Y'all, I hate to tell you, y'all have been talking to nothing. I don't exist. Yeah. I don't know who the hell you're talking to.
God. I go on an extended rant. By the time this episode comes out, the Ahsoka episode 2 of Gold Squadron, I go on an extended rant about that.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. My very quick hot take that I will not go into spoilers because Colton's not very far along. There's a big reason I haven't started Phase 3 yet. And that's, with the exception of about 3 characters, my hot take is everyone who was incredibly interesting died in Phase 1, and everyone left are the most boring characters going forward. That is my hot take.
I have wonderful news for you about Phase 3. Some of those characters get much more interesting in Phase 3 than they were in Phase 1.
I sure do hope so, because with the exception of 3 babies, all my faves died, and I'm just like, why do I gotta keep?
At the risk of spoilers, which I will not go into detail, some people you think are dead at the end of Phase 1 may not actually be dead.
Good, because yeah. Anyway,
you might wish they had died at the end of Phase 1, but apparently there's more story there.
Okay, Charles.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
So, well.
So we don't know whether or not Chris has split this episode into a completely separate episode, or whether it's at the end of the last one.
Yes, but we are gonna play a little game, and my co-podcasters only know a little bit about it. And I am so excited. And I do want to say thank you everyone who sent in questions. I know we didn't get to all the questions. You guys are the best listeners. Thank you for taking time and listening to us and sending us out and like helping us out in this like very quick level. Like, we need things. You guys are the best. So, but from here on out, welcome to my game. We are going to essentially play a version of Whose Line Is It Anyway? where I will ask you questions, and depending on how you answer them, I will give you arbitrary points. And I get to decide the points and how many you get. They cannot see all the questions. I have a separate doc of questions. But here's the other thing. You three at any time can either ask me a question, and I also have a random question generator pulled up for me. So, depending on my answer, y'all can give me points. Or take points away. So,
Okay.
and I have questions for some of y'all, and I have questions for all of y'all. So let's just start off nice and easy. With one of the questions you can't see. Charles, why are turtles green?
Why are turtles green?
Yes, go.
I have absolutely no idea. I assume it has something to do with camouflage. A lot of turtles tend to be aquatic, and also in more foresty, rivery sort of environments, and it makes it more difficult for them to see. Water's not actually blue, necessarily. It's sort of a bluish green. So I imagine it has something to do with turtles being more difficult to spot in those particular environments. Also, they're green because we drew a lot of turtles when we were kids, and we always colored them in green, so they're green now. Even though a lot of turtles, truthfully, can be brown, they can be black, they can be any number of different colors. Rather like frogs, I think we just associate, like frogs being associated with ribbit, even though they don't really say ribbit. We just assume they do because that's every frog in that we saw as a kid. I assume that turtles are green just because we think of them as green. It has to do, our perception defines our reality, as Qui-Gon Jinn would say in The Phantom Menace.
So I was going to give you no points because the real answer is magic, but then you made it nostalgic about coloring turtles, and so you get 10 points.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jess, describe Lysander's best date on Naboo. I want food, hair, and outfit.
Okay, I did think about this. So, sorry, I saw Charles's cat jump off his chair. Okay.
Mr. Jonathan Harker is, unlike most episodes of Flad, Mr. Jonathan Harker is a participant in this one.
Yes, he's allowed.
Okay, so
Jonathan Harker receives 20 points for existing.
Okay, I will add it. So Jonathan is going to beat us all.
I don't like these terms.
oh my god, I hope Chris will probably hear like my dog barking in the background. Maybe.
That's fine. This is a pet friendly today because I'm in charge and I say so. Chris
Okay.
gets negative. Chris gets negative 100 points if he edits out cats and dogs.
Okay.
He's already losing.
So, Lysander's best date was an older gentleman did take him to a museum at first, where it seemed like it'd be like a nice, like, you know, civil like date, like, oh, a museum, and then they went to dinner afterwards. Lysander definitely was dressing in his fancy like Naboo rich person clothes that he, you know, they did get to keep those. So Lysander's like, yeah, I'll wear them again. Why not? If we're doing fancy stuff. But then Lysander definitely did start to get bored during this date and start getting wine drunk, and then did be like, oh, are you gonna like take me back to your fun condo or not? Or because otherwise this is kind of just wasting my time. But just imagine Lysander in his fun clothes. Did we like say that they were like a purplish, like reddish color too? I don't remember what we described those as. I still wish that someone please draw that, because I don't want to draw. Because I actually hate drawing clothes.
I loved everything about that. You get 50 points. Colton, best droid and why?
RIC dash 1200. He is the droid in oh god, what's the Shadows Shades of Reason episode of Clone Wars that says "Welcome to Mandalore" and then immediately gets shot by Maul's goons. Yeah.
Colton, follow up. Name 10 droids.
Forlom, IG-88, R2-D2, C-3PO, Kalani, General Kalani, Forlom, which I do know about, I just never actually interacted with, Gonk, which I'm including, Sawbones, or Bone, the repurposed B1 in the Rebellion, I forget what his name is, Dr. Bones?
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones,
Oh,
thank
you lost a point there.
BB1,
And
Welcome to Mandalore droid. The unnamed tour guide
I'm
droid.
pretty sure you said Forlom twice, so I'm gonna need another one.
Oh, okay.
There's a really big one that you're missing.
Oh god, no, 1N.
there you go. I will give it to you. I will give it to you.
was like thinking about 000.
I
yeah.
was looking for Chopper.
Oh,
I was looking for
yeah.
CB23 because that is the right answer 10 times, as always. I will give you +5 for naming 10 droids. Oh, where's my phone? Charles has claimed that he can do this, and
Yes.
I'm allowed to time him. So, let me make sure my timer is there. Okay, I'm going to give you a 3, 2, 1, go after I explain it,
Okay.
right?
Should I remove these so you can
No.
just, no? Okay.
No. So, Charles, in 2 minutes, what is the High Republic? You ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So the High Republic is a Star Wars publishing initiative that serves as a prequel to all pieces of visual media. So the number one thing to keep in mind, disregard all visual media. It doesn't count. You don't need to know anything about it. It is the Republic at the height of its expansionary period. So if you imagine the original movies as being the Vietnam War and the war in Iraq, this is the Gilded Age and westward expansion. We're in this era of peak exploration and peak energy, that early industrial revolution energy. The Jedi are peacekeepers working with the Republic to help with this expansion to keep the peace, and the Republic is really committed to building these great works and inspiring the galaxy and moving into a different era. Meanwhile, in order to do this, the Republic has established what's called Starlight Beacon, which is a nexus point for the Outer Rim. That's where the story starts, with the construction of this Starlight Beacon. However, there is a group called the Nihil.
1 minute.
Who are basically space pirates, space Vikings. They are doing nefarious stuff in the Outer Rim, but their whole pirate thing is just a cover for their leader's real aim. What that aim is a mystery. He is looking for a weapon. What that weapon is a mystery. And what it's going to do is it's going to challenge the fundamental ideals of the Republic. It's going to challenge the Jedi by forcing them to confront things that they have never confronted before and overcome that fear to really be the protectors of the Republic and answer
30
what
seconds.
that means. That's
Hey,
the High Republic.
You had 30 seconds to spare. Very good. You get 100 points for that. I didn't think you could do it. And I'm full of shit. I'm going to throw myself a random question. Here we go. Haha. Come on. What are my top 5 snacks? Cheez-Its, which are always beside my desk. Salsa. I love cheese. Most cheeses. Cookies. Not cookies. I don't like sweets actually very much. I like a bunch of chips and salty things. So as long as it's chippy and salty, I'm usually pretty good. What's my points?
well,
2.5, I think.
2.5.
I got 5 for naming 10 things, so...
I was gonna give you 10, but then you said you didn't really like sweet things, and then so I've retracted that, and I will give you 6, because I also like cheese. So
I would award 9 points.
I'll take the middle ground and say a 7 between the 9 and the 5 and the everything. So right now, currently, Charles is very much in the lead. So,
boo, tomato.
here you go. Colton, do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Jess, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, and I want to go on a ghost hunting adventure, like frick, what is that show with the guy who hunts ghosts, or
Supernatural?
No, not Supernatural. Shut up.
I've seen every episode of Ghost Hunters every season,
Yeah,
as well as their spinoffs.
And then also, like, you know, if you guys watch YouTube stuff, like Shane and Ryan of Watcher Entertainment on YouTube, who previously did BuzzFeed Unsolved, but now have their own, like, you know, company, Watcher, and they have a little ghost hunting show there now too, called The Ghost Files. And I would be a stupid idiot going into a haunted place and being like, hello, a ghost, are you there? And yeah, I am also a kid who did play with Ouija boards when I was a child.
Charles, do you believe in ghosts?
I have had a paranormal experience where I've had physical contact with a ghost, so yes.
Oh, interesting. So, you both get points, and as do I, and Colton got less points because they're a skeptic. These are the rules
I'm not
I've made up.
skeptical.
Colton can
where are
come with
we?
me on my ghost hunting adventure.
Now
Cool.
that's a
Yeah.
show. I would watch that show.
I would watch the fuck out of that show. From the Kraken, what is the best form of potato for eating and why? Everyone.
Wait, you s-
That's the question. That's how it was written. What is the best form of potato for eating and why?
It's
Charles.
hash browns.
My-
It's hash browns because they're very difficult to mess up. You can get them basically anywhere and they will be acceptable. You can have them cooked any number of ways and they will be acceptable. They don't require a great deal of work to make them something that can be delicious and enjoyed by themselves or with any number of condiments. I can go to any breakfast spot and order a hash browns extra crispy and I will basically know what I'm going to get and have a good time.
Jess, best form of potato to eat and why?
it's so hard because I really like potatoes, like in all forms. But I mean, I guess you can't go. Well, there's so many different types of fries. I was gonna say you can't go wrong with fries, but then sometimes they're like steak
The
fries.
fries can be wrong.
I know. Sometimes I don't like steak fries, like, you know, thicker fry. I like thin, crispy fries. So actually, I'm gonna go with thin, crispy fries.
Hell yeah. Colton, best potato and why?
My family's heart attack potato recipe that actually gave someone a heart attack. Like, no
Get
joke.
extra points for that.
We had a family friend over for dinner, had those, and then the next day he had a heart attack. He was fine, but yeah.
Mine is tater tots. All forms of tater tots. Either small bite-sized ones or big ones like they serve at Bojangles. Give it to me. All tater tots all the time. I don't know how many points. I'm going to give myself 30 points for that.
I think Colton should get 50.
He did get 50.
I was about to say, I think Colton deserves more for that answer.
Oh, yeah. I got the least amount of points, and then Jess and Charles both got 40, and Colton got 50, because it's a very interesting story. Also,
Well,
from the Kraken...
I'm gonna make the case that you deserve slightly more points for the tater tot answer, because tater tots and hash browns are very closely related to each other.
Tater tots
One
are
is-
like smaller hash browns.
Exactly.
No, there's a difference because there's like, and tater tots are so good, like Sonic tater tots and Bojangles hash browns, but it's just a giant freaking tater tot. It's so damn good, but they're good for different reasons, and I will happily take my extra point, Charles. Thank you. I got one whole point because Charles said so. Remember, y'all are allowed to throw questions at me at any time or tell me to hit a random generator because, Charles, why is Shmi Skywalker Abeloth from Legends?
So I'm not gonna answer the question directly.
No,
Instead,
you have to or you'll
No,
lose
hold
points.
on. I'm gonna make a point here. I'm gonna make a point. So one of the nice things about Legends, and one of the things that's really fun as a Legends fan, is the fact that Legends is done. With yes, Star Wars The Old Republic is ongoing, but that really doesn't count at this point. The text that we have is the text that we have. And what's now fun about Legends is that we will never get confirmation or any, dissuasion of any wacky fucking theories that you want to have about Legends. This is part of the fun of it, because all you can do is speculate. You will never get any more material. So, looking at a theory like Shmi Skywalker is some incarnation of Abeloth or connected to Abeloth in some form, that's a thing that can full ass exist if you want it to. No piece of media that doesn't already exist is ever going to contradict that. which is super fun thing about Legends. All my headcanons get to be canon, and other people's headcanons get to be canon. Unless you're being a toxic shitty dude bro, in which case I don't care about your headcanons. They're dumb and wrong. We
You
don't
avoided
want
the question, so you're losing 10 points.
That's okay. I got to get up on my soapbox and talk about how Legends is valid, actually, and it's a lot of fun, and you should read it.
Can confirm.
Thank
Agree.
you, Colton.
Yeah.
Colton, do you believe in aliens?
Yes. It's statistically impossible for them not to exist.
I agree. Jess, what's your favorite ice cream?
Oh, like, for one, I'd go with a classic. I go with strawberry every single time. But I know that might be controversial to like a fruit. But I, as my younger sibling often tells me, am a fruit. So, yeah, I
You
like
get
fruity
extra
things.
points for that.
Every time.
Hope, what's your favorite?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say every time I say I like anything fruity, my younger sibling is mean. It's just like, yeah, because you're a fruit, and I'm just like,
Well, Colton,
Hope, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Hitmonchan, because, I guess media does influence things, because 10-year-old me saw a dude in a dress and went, that one's my favorite, and now I'm gay.
I think Hope should get 50 points for that.
I also agree.
My second favorite is Mimikyu. Like, I've loved Hitmonchan ever since I was 10 years old, but the first time I saw Mimikyu, and they had that little song that was just like, all I want is to be loved. I was like, you're my favorite! So, Hitmonchans and Mimikyus are my two favorites. I actually am going to determine this. This is a very important question. Ready? It's very exciting. Colton, best Disney princess. This is going to everybody, by the way.
I see the gears turning.
Leia Organa.
Oh, what a bullshit
Yeah,
answer.
like I was
Has
trying
to be an actual Disney princess.
Yeah, I mean, Leia Organa is.
Okay.
She's a princess.
Okay.
And she's owned by Disney.
Technically, this is accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Does any Muppet count?
Does any Muppet count?
I believe the understanding is that they have to be a princess, get named as such within the context of the lore, owned by the Walt Disney Corporation, and bonus points will be awarded if they have magical powers of some description.
I was going
This
to
is
take
not necessary. But
going to
it's-
take points away from Colton, but you got me with the Muppets, so you're actually getting a bonus point for that. But what is your answer?
Is Colton like looking it up?
Oh god. Just like everything has just vanished from my skull.
We'll circle
Actually-
back.
actually-
Jess, best Disney princess.
What, Charles, first?
Actually, I have a different answer.
Good, 'cause
Besides
you're losing
Leia
points
Organa.
with that one.
Oh, I'm gonna keep losing them by saying Princess Ziri Albarin.
Oh my god, you just lost 5 more.
I'm taking the points in the name of comedy and also repping Phase 2.
Slay, okay. I will give you a serious answer. My favorite Disney princess is Mulan.
Hell yeah. Colton?
I googled Disney princesses, and with the list I've been given, Flynn Rider. He's on the list.
Why is he
So-
up there?
I don't know, but I think it fits.
So,
Flynn is baby girl. He can be princess.
I was going to take away points from all of you because the correct answer is Rapunzel. But Flynn, that is her husband, so I will actually not do that from Colton. You would actually just have 5 more points.
Oh, this is so rude.
Mulan was a very good answer. You lost no points, Jess, because that's a very
Yeah,
good
I was
answer.
like, because
Charles
I actually
lost all
gave
the
a
points.
legit.
I just
actually
keep
gave a
getting dot
legitimate
points.
answer.
I think Ziri Albarin is a legitimate answer.
Oh my god.
I do
Jesus
too. I
Christ.
just don't think it's a correct answer.
God, I'm still on the Muppets. What is Jess? What is Lysander's favorite thing in the galaxy?
Oh, I've thought about this a lot.
Reminder, this is an explicit podcast.
No, it's not gonna be
That's a Gauze answer.
No, it's not poppers. I knew someone was gonna say poppers again. No, Lysander's favorite thing in the galaxy is actually like lying down under the like stars back home and like looking at them and just he daydreamed a lot about going on adventures. And I think I did mention it once, maybe, that Lysander also did used to like write little kind of his Jedi fanfic on the HoloNet.
Lysander's RPF era.
Yeah. There's a lot about Axel Greylark.
As there should be.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Colton, what's Coriel's favorite thing in the galaxy?
Gambling.
Dig it.
That makes sense.
Wait, hold on. Now I'm thinking, does Axel Greylark count as a Disney princess?
Oh,
Yes.
I think
Because
that
he is the
Colton's-
Coruscant prince. But he does have to be rescued a lot.
just like a traditional princess damsel in distress.
I'm just saying.
Charles, you're gonna have a hard mode. What is Wynn's favorite thing in the galaxy that's not calf?
Learning new things.
Hi, honey. I hear a puppy.
Yeah.
Going to museums, Wynn is the type of person who, rather like me, will go to museums and read a placard. They have actually very much enjoyed their Book of Illegal Sith. They have very much enjoyed learning new languages. Wynn is at heart a scholar. They are a student. And they love any time that they get to learn something new about history or about language. Not so much about people who are currently alive. But that is their favorite thing, is anytime they get to experience something new. They're still a little bummed about that Sith tomb on Naboo.
We'll find you a new one, buddy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Gaz's favorite thing in the entire galaxy is noodles. Any kind of noodle. Like, the equivalent of, like, Italian pasta, like the Star Wars, like, version of, like, ravioli, to, like, the Star Wars equivalent to, like, ramen. Like, she loves any kind of noodle, any version, anyway. That is her favorite thing in the galaxy. And one thing I actually don't get to talk enough is her love of food. She loves food and eating. I don't know how many points you want to give me for that boring ass answer.
12.
I think 15.
15 sounds good.
15? All right. Hey, Colton, childhood nickname.
Oh, I didn't really have one.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, no points. Jess, did you have a childhood nickname?
It's Jess, 'cause, you know.
Charles, did you have a childhood nickname?
I was called things, but I can't say them on the show.
You know what? I'll give you a sympathy 10 points. My childhood nickname was Ralph.
Why was it Ralph?
Because it was a very rare occasion where I was on a soccer team, and the rare occasion was there was, for once in my life, two Hopes. And two Hopes are very rare, and we don't run into each other very often. And so my soccer coach didn't want to call us both Hope, so I was Ralph, and which was funny because that's my grandfather's name, so it actually worked out.
Nice.
So
I think you
What's
should
your,
get
what's your
20 points for that.
I agree with 20 points.
I actually still have my middle school soccer jersey that says Ralph on the back of it.
so good?
Yeah, it's in my closet.
What's your lightsaber color?
Ooh, mine. It might be boring, but I really like the white lightsabers. Like when I saw that for Ahsoka and like the spirituality behind it, like that really impacted me a lot. So I'm gonna give myself a whole point for that because I can. What is yours, Colton, since you posed it to me?
Blue.
Blue? Okay. Okay, that's a classic. That's a classic. I think that's a fiver. Charles.
I do too.
Gold.
Okay.
I would give that a 7-pointer.
Bougie.
Yeah, Jess.
I am much like Mace Windu. I'd go with like a purple.
Hell yeah. I actually really like the purple. That's my second one, so I'm going to give you a whole 10 points for being in common. Pick 2 songs, everybody. One represents your character prior to meeting the Squonk crew. The second one is about any time they've been with the crew. It doesn't have to be right now where they are, but it could be any time in the timeline since they've met them. I will start because I know this is a bit of a complex question to give y'all time to think. I did this because I'm evil and I love making playlists. That's just who I am as a person. And so if I had to choose Kaz's song prior to this, there's 2, and they're both from sister shows. And looking at my God's playlist, one is called Clown Bitch, which is essentially a song about clowning yourself by selling yourself to a corporate structure. And that is by Sam Haff. And if you want to know her internal thoughts, Poison from Hazbin Hotel just came out, and that's what she was going through internally. And after she's met the Squonk crew, it's probably Cosmic Wanderer by Tim Berzeal, which is where I was like, wow, someone made very cosmic sounding banjo noises, and I love it.
Oh.
So I'm going to give myself negative 20 points, though, for making such a hard question.
Yeah. Like, hold on,
You're
I'm
welcome.
thinking.
Wynn is one of the few characters. I have another project that I have playlists made for the characters, but I've never made a playlist for Wynn. So this is an interesting question.
I have a song called Iced Coffee, but it's a lo-fi beat. Does that count?
For Coriel, locals, parentheses, girls like us, by underscores and Gabby Start.
Ever since you mentioned that on your live stream the other day, it's been in my head, and it's on my playlist now. Thank you.
Nice.
I
It's
can't-
such a good song.
It's so good.
For like previous, before, and then I'm trying to find a song that's just like 3 minutes of screaming for current Coriel.
So, I used to work at a Hot Topic, so it was what was on at all times, so I will give you any of those songs.
Perfect.
I'm going to give you 25 points for that.
Yes.
And I'm going to give myself another negative 5 points for such a hard question. Jess, I know you have a Lysander playlist.
I know,
'cause
I'm thinking.
It's in my Spotify, and I love it.
Perfect. This is
Because I think I know what I'd say for like before the Squonk crew is it's actually a Disney song too. So it's How Far I'll Go, from Moana.
Yeah!
Is
Oh, so good!
definitely Lysander before the Squonk crew. As for After, I'm thinking still about which one.
I would like to make an amendment.
Okay, you're left.
If we're allowing musicals in this.
It's any song, it's music.
Well, yeah.
Any
But,
song!
reviewing the situation from Oliver is Coriel's current song.
The one though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Charles some 10 sympathy points because I'm making Charles work very hard.
It's
on this.
the second one. It's the second one. The one after that's really catching.
that interesting,
it's
though?
really
Yeah.
getting me.
Yeah.
I know one, although I feel like it's definitely for current Lysander, and it is another song from another musical.
Hit me.
And it is Wait for It from Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's actually one of my favorite songs. While we wait on Charles, I'm going to hit myself a random question generator question. For me,
Okay.
my random question, name 15 presidents.
Name
Do it.
15
Come on.
Supreme Chancellors.
Do it!
Oh, Jesus Christ, 15 presidents. Okay, here we go. There's been 2 Bushes, 1 Trump, There is a Biden and an Obama. There's been 2 Adams, a Washington, a Jackson. There's a Harrelson somewhere in there. I already said Jackson. Oh, crap. There's 2 Roosevelts and a Taft that did not actually get stuck in a bathtub.
One hates lasagna.
Carter, and I need one more. I need a president. Someone
Or
has
loves
to be named
lasagna.
William. Is there a William? Oh God, president.
You were very close. There is a Wilson.
Oh, Woodrow Wilson. There you go, 15.
There you go. Nice.
All right. I'm gonna take away no points or add any points because that was me killing time for Charles. What's your last song, Mom?
So I think that it's a very dark song, but it matches. For prior to meeting the Squonk Crew, I'm going to go with "The Kids Aren't All Right" by The Offspring, I believe, which is a song about how dreams don't work out and everything's actually miserable. So that fits. Afterwards, it was tricky. I ended up going with I think I ended up going with The Chase from the Frankenstein off-Broadway musical. Not for any plot relevance, but because if you listen to the song The Chase, it's the part of the story where Victor Frankenstein is chasing the monster. And it both echoes previous numbers in the musical, which everybody should go listen to the off-Broadway Frankenstein musical. It's fucking amazing. But it echoes previous songs about the passage of time. But also being haunted as you move, but never being able to stop. Constantly having to keep moving, never being able to form any sort of meaningful relationships anymore in places because you're constantly having to keep moving from one thing to another. And that's the thing that off the top of my head encompasses Wynn's current journey. I had also thought about the flying theme from any number of media, including How to Train Your Dragon. However, I felt like that would be cheating slightly.
I have actually, headcanon that song, the flying theme, but with Lysander on one of the flying creatures in the Battle of Valo.
Oh, that's fun.
We are
Yeah.
so going to end up on Valo.
I cannot wait for us to be on Valo.
I'm gonna have Lysander sing the one little song they're singing at the fair.
Jess,
We
ready?
have a Small World reference.
Oh, you know what one just popped up on my music? Because I've been looking at my music app through various playlists. Surface Pressure from Encanto
Oh,
is another good Wynn song.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
that I feel like could work for Gauze as a sister too. Maybe?
Oh, yeah. I did for a while think of what else could I do for Lysander. That came up on my playlist, and I was like, oh, but like early Lysander before all
Yeah.
the trauma happened.
That definitely is Lysander, right? As he's like gonna take off on his adventure, and then he's like, wow, the galaxy's actually kind of fucked up.
Jess, convince me why Marcion Rowe is a good character.
Oh god, I don't know
And
if
for context, I famously hate this character.
yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know if I can, because I know you know I can. I can't do it. I can't.
Okay, do you want to pass?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look.
I have a contribution to this.
No, because you're going to tell me what kind of hat would suit Wynn best.
I think they've already worn it. I think it was the capitalist rat hat. That's just funny.
The two cat ears, but
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I thought it was cat ears, but I think it was actually
was
loth rat
mouse
ears.
ears.
It was
You
mouse
misheard
ears.
me.
It was
Oh.
the Mickey Mouse hat that Wynn was wearing at one point during a very serious conversation, because everything about that hat is perfectly anathema to what Wynn believes as a person.
Oh Lord! All right, I'll make this a little bit easier for you, Jess. If you could travel back in time, where would you go?
Oh. The thing about me is I very much enjoy like Regency era like stuff.
Ah, I love it.
So maybe I would go see the Regency era a bit, but then I don't know because the past is very fucked up. So as much as I enjoy the aesthetic of the Regency era, yeah.
I like it. I dig it. I dig it. Colton, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Tequila.
Do you mean the song, or do you mean the drink that you consume to sing?
Both.
Thank you.
I make it awkward. Like,
That was not what I was expecting to come out.
no, if you want a real answer, it's probably Prima Donna Girl by Marina and the Diamonds.
Oh, slay.
But I start out with tequila.
Okay, again, the drink
It
or
was
the
the
song.
happiness of it. It was the tequila.
But you gotta go full deadpan, just
Oh,
tequila.
Jesus Christ!
See, I'm pretentious, and so
I actually love that answer.
I'll have them put on the Rufus Wainwright version of Hallelujah because it's the only one that karaoke machines seem to have. But then I'll change the last two verses to the Leonard Cohen original, which in my mind is better lyrics. That's who I am as a person in karaoke. The original Leonard
Actually-
Cohen Hallelujah is my favorite song of all time. Genuinely changed my life. And they
I-
never have that version.
I want to know Jess's. What's your karaoke song?
I always either pick Dancing Queen or Mamma Mia by ABBA.
I love
Nice.
both of these. Mine, I've yet to sing mine because nobody ever has it, and it's Danny Don't You Know by Ninja Sex Party. It is one of my... It is a song that actually, like, really means a lot to me personally, because it's about... Ninja Sex Party is a very niche band. But it's about somebody in their mid-30s talking to their younger self, and there's a line in it that says, I'm still a nerdy kid inside, but now I finally found my tribe. And that's how I feel like as an adult. So, like, I've never sung the song, but it's the one I'm looking out for. Lightning round for everybody. What's y'all's favorite Ghibli movie?
And this is from the Kraken on
Thank you, the Kraken.
Discord.
Okay, so this is kind of going out of bounds of the question a little bit, but it's Miyazaki's directorial debut, Lupin III: Castle of Cagliostro,
I'll take
which
it.
has the single best car chase scene in all of cinema, and no one can convince me otherwise. So yeah.
Princess Mononoke.
This is
House
not a
Moving
visual
Castle?
media, so yeah.
Right.
It is, I am holding up a hoodie that says House Moving Castle on it.
See, I'm with both of you. It depends if I want to watch an action or a romance, because Mononoke and Howl are my two favorite for completely different reasons. But the twist in the original Howl book is one of the biggest twists, that Howl is actually from our world, which blew my fucking mind.
I also,
He's Welsh, though. Like,
yeah, he's Welsh.
can we really say he's
He's from
of
our
this world?
I do also have the original House Moving Castle book with me too.
I am going to give myself -5 points, though, for not giving one answer, but two. Charles, name 10 women in Star Wars.
Christ. Okay, Leia Organa, Padme Amidala, Shmi Skywalker, Amilyn Holdo, Rey, Mon Mothma, Zirial Barin, Avar Kriss, Ty Yorick, Keeve Trennis.
You
Bonus,
failed-
Zine Morala, Lula Telesola. If we're going to movie... Actually, Ahsoka Tano as well, if we're going into shows. Harrison Dula, Sabine Wren. Who else?
You're losing points because you've mentioned no one from Resistance so far.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. But I will give you bonus points for still going, so...
Yeah, I gave an extra 5 because women are in Star Wars, And that's a thing.
Jess, best Star Wars gay.
Oh no, there's so many in the High Republic. Fuck. Because I'm just like, I could go with so many different answers here. Oh. Yeah, and gay people do exist in Star Wars. If you don't think they do, then you.
Why the fuck are you listening to the show?
Yeah.
How did you
yeah,
make
how
it
did you
this
get here?
far?
Right?
I'm sure you were very confused when I mentioned Kit Repso earlier.
What was my? I'm like thinking of everyone I could answer, and then my brain is just like, Comac Vitus.
Hell yeah!
I'm
You
just
get
like-
bonus points!
I'm just like, out of everyone I could pick, the one that came to the forefront was just he ran out of the woods to whisper that into my ear. Where is he?
Colton, where is he? I need to know. Where is my best boy? I love him. Colton, what's your favorite body of water?
The Europa Ocean. The Europa Under Ice Ocean.
You know, I don't. That was a very good answer. That was a very you answer. I'm going to give you 20 points. That's a very, very you answer. For me, question. What is my favorite pizza? I'm a chaos person. I do love ham and pineapple.
Yeah.
I am a chaos person, but nobody in my family ever eats it, so I never get it. I'm gonna give myself 5 whole points for that, because I can. This is my job. Hey, y'all, what's a hill you'll die on? It doesn't have to be a Star Wars hill. It's just a hill. Just go out and die on a hill.
Yeah. Okay.
Literally any hill.
Literally any hill.
I'll just go walk out on the hill right now.
Yes, yes.
If someone takes a position, my brain is just wired to like, all right, I'm gonna automatically die on the opposing hill.
Oh my god.
Like, I will... It's part of being a speech and debate kid, right? Where I was trained to literally argue any position at any moment.
Tell me
but,
why
like-
Loden Greatstorm is great and you get bonus points.
Oh, because he is an exemplary member of the Jedi Order. He is a great master, and he does what he needs to do as part of being a Jedi.
I was looking for he's a sexy dilf, but I'll take it.
Also that, yes.
I'll give you
yes,
plus
that
5.
is-
Name a hill you'll die on, Colton. Go.
Oh, that Warhammer is moving out of satire and just being fascist apologia, and that needs to stop.
I'll take it.
I can confirm Colton is correct. For people who maybe don't know Warhammer as well, Colton is correct.
Jess, die on the hill.
The hill that I would die on is that, yeah, you said it doesn't have to be Star Wars related. So,
Doesn't
my
have to be
hill
Star Wars.
is actually related to the other fandom that takes up 90% of my brain space, which is the Persona fandom, and that the Persona fandom are a bunch of elitists who are like, oh, if you didn't play the original Persona games, then you're not a real Persona fan. If you only got into Persona because of Persona 5, then you're not a real Persona fan. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. If you like a Persona game, you're a Persona fan.
Hey Jess, for bonus points, what's a character from Persona that everybody's wrong about that you're right about?
The character that I'm right about and that people are wrong about is Goro Kechi, who I have a shrine dedicated to behind me right now. He was he is my my baby boy. He is the character I kin. He is my everything. If I talked about Goro Kechi any more than I do in my brain all the time, I think I would forget to eat or drink and I would pass away. So I'm gonna stop, because if I go on a tangent about him, it will be a problem.
I'm going to take away 3 points because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Charles,
okay.
die on a hill.
The
I will
hill
say
that I am prepared
That's the first time Jess has lost points, just saying.
The
So,
hill that I am prepared to die on at all times is that the Chancellorship of Mon Mothma's liberal policies, while yeah, maybe not going as far. In fact, maybe not even maybe. Not going as far as they should have to prosecute imperial criminals, as well as ensure that the First Order and other fascist organizations were not able to rise out of the ashes, were both completely understandable policies in the context of galactic history, because none of them read the scripts for the sequels and didn't know that that was coming. But also, if you consider Mon Mothma as a character having to live through the Clone Wars and the entire Galactic Civil War, turning around and saying, I don't want more fucking war. Can we be done with fucking war, please? We're going to try to make sure that this is not happening, and also that we don't turn into the Empire, is a perfectly logical and reasonable thing for the character to do. That it is, she did not cause the First Order, she was not a weak chancellor, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she could not have anticipated all of the other factors 30 fucking years down the line that were going to lead to the sequels happening. Mon Mothma was good at her job. You can disagree with her policies, and I do, but she was good at her job, and her policies made sense for the character. And we badly need more about her written by women in the New Republic era to dive into why this was choices that these characters made. Basically, the hill I'm prepared to die on is defending Mon Mothma at all times for everything.
I dig it. I dig it. Mine is that animation is one of the most important mediums, and we actually wouldn't have most current mediums today if not for the progression of animation. And you can talk to Steven Spielberg about his thoughts about that too, because he believes that every live action director should direct at least an animation movie at least once, because animators have to think about things in the 360 and live action directors do not. If you have something tumbling down a hill, you have to think about every angle of it. That is mine. I don't know how many points you want to give me for that.
23.
23. I won that round then. Thanks, Colton.
Happy to help.
We are now going to go into a lightning round.
Okay.
Hesitation will make you lose points.
Okay.
You ready?
No.
Well, we'll start with you then. What's a weird smell that you really like?
The smell of coffee.
That's not weird.
I don't know, it's a lightning
I
round.
have one.
Hit me, Jess.
I like the smell of wet pavement.
Hell yeah, I like the smell of tires.
I actually
new
am
tires.
nostalgic. I am nostalgic for the smell of a paper mill.
Okay, you got your points back. Colton,
Yes.
same question.
Petrichor.
Okay.
Which is the same.
Hell yeah,
as
that's a
Jess,
good
I
one.
think.
And you get a bonus point for you actually using the word petrichor. Colton, favorite color?
Blue.
Jess, favorite flower?
An aster.
What's your name? Charles, half empty or a half full?
I could not hear the question.
Half empty or a half full?
Generally try to be half full.
Colton, worst food of all time?
Sauerkraut. I was raised, my family is German, so we made sauerkraut every summer, and the massive crocks of rotting cabbage were always put right next to my room. So
You know what? I'll give that to you. That's valid.
yeah.
Breast. I was looking at the word breakfast and Jess. What is your go-to breakfast order, Jess?
I like pancakes and bacon with medium well eggs or no, over medium eggs. I was just like, what is the word I'm looking for? Over medium eggs.
I am losing my goddamn mind over here. Hey, I keep forgetting your name, Charles. I'm so sorry. Charles, do you read your horoscope?
Sometimes for fun, but never take it seriously.
Hey, Colton, what impresses
Yeah.
you the most?
Technical skill.
Jess, what gives you ick?
With the word girth. I hate when anyone uses that word. It like actually makes my skin crawl. Hope is like dying.
We broke Hope. Jess gets extra points for breaking Hope.
I agree.
Oh my Jesus Christ! Oh my God! You get 500 points for that. Oh my God! Oh,
The
Jesus
immediacy of
Christ.
the answer. The immediacy of the answer.
It's funny because
my
I
God.
actually had a conversation with my coworker like this morning
Oh.
because I used the word moist because someone gave me a moist $100 bill to pay for stuff, and I was like, disgusting. And he's like, I hate the word moist, and I was like, I hate the word girth, and he's just like, what the hell?
So, when you work in a mall, you make friends with the stores around you, right? And the guy who worked in the suit store next to us really hated the words moist panties. And my manager, being the dick that he was, got some wet panties by like running them under a sink and gave them to him because he was a dick. And Sam came in and threw wet panties at me thinking it was my doing. So I was assaulted with wet panties at my comic book store. It was great. Anyway, where are we?
I don't even know.
Colton, favorite class in school? So-and-so in school.
Like college or high school? Or
Doesn't
does it
matter. Hesitation!
Okay, I took a really interesting Russian literature class last semester that was very fun. Talking about like folklore of like Slavic areas, which was cool. There was a really interesting English class I took about science fiction, so I think that one.
Charles, favorite thing about yourself?
Writing ability.
Jess, favorite soda?
Sprite.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at this question because it was just like, are you an owl? And I was like, what the fuck is this question?
Are you an owl, Hope? This is a question for you.
I play a bird, so that's about as close as I'm gonna get. So I have a big like random question generator, and there was one in here. It was like, for your work colleagues, and it was like, what was your earliest traumatic experience? I was like, I don't want to know that about my work colleagues. Thank you very much. Hey Colton, do you speak any other languages?
No.
Oh.
I did speak Klingon, but it's no longer in here. And Elvish, kind of. I was a nerd in high school.
I'll take those. Charles, have you ever made
Quenya or
up a dance?
Sindarin? Quenya or Sindarin?
Sindarin.
Okay.
Nerds. Charles, have you ever made up a dance?
Not in the sense of doing it on purpose. However, my dancing is bad, and we're gonna leave it at that.
I will one time in person show you the dance that me and my friend made up called the Legolas, because I too am a nerd. Jess, favorite color?
Lavender.
Jess, favorite role model?
Favorite role model.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've never thought about that. So I don't have one then.
Charles, best season?
Of what?
Outside.
I live in California, so we don't really have them anymore. However, when I lived in Georgia and Illinois, places that do actually have seasons, my favorite was fall.
All right. Last round. Ready? Colton, rainy days. How do you like to spend them?
Amazing. Oh, like, anyway, I love rainy days. I'm happy to, like, go outside if it's warm, stay inside, read. I mean, I stay inside and read in pretty much all weather, so that's kind of a cop-out answer.
Charles, karma, yes or no?
To an extent, yes.
And finally, Jess. How would you spend $1 million?
Oh God. One, I'd pay off my debt. Two, I'd probably get a fun house to like share with my friends, or at least invite people over and be like, hey, let's have a fun time. Maybe I'd also no, I wouldn't do that actually. No, I'm gonna. The thing I was about to say, but I was gonna say something and I was like, no, actually, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, I definitely would pay off my debt. I'd buy myself a house. Invite my friends to live with me. They don't have to if they don't want to. I'd also buy a bunch of stuff I've always wanted. A bunch of merch I've always wanted because I'm a big fucking nerd. So my house would be filled with a bunch of anime and Star Wars shit.
I approve. All right, so the last question that we're going to do, and this is for everybody while I am totaling up points to see who won, but I'm pretty sure it's Jess who just got 500 points for killing me. the last question is, say one. We are missing Chris and we are missing Robin, and we sorely miss them. And I wish they were here with us. Each person say one nice thing about our missing co-podcasters while I total stuff up.
Who wants to go first?
I can.
Anyway.
Robin is a fantastic voice actor, and I'm very excited to see what they get up to next, even if it's not in the voice acting, because I'm sure they're going to do wonderful whatever they choose. And Chris is a fantastic GM, and I'm so happy to be in a game with him.
I'll go next. The amount of just pathos and just sheer emotion that Robin is able to get into the character of Zero is nothing short of mind-blowing to me. That this is a character who is very, very, very difficult to voice because the character is such a enigma and someone who it would be very easy for them to just come off as a flat character. And a lot of the personality of the character comes through not with the words necessarily that Robin says, although they are very excellent words, but through the tones and inflections and just the timing. Robin's comic timing is fucking incredible. It is unbelievably good. And it makes me laugh constantly. I have to say a nice thing about Chris. Oh, fuck.
You really do.
Chris is a very, very good cook. No, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, because I have been hunting for proper Southern food since I moved to California. And it has happened twice that I have sat down to a meal and I was like, this is Southern food. This is it. One of them is at the restaurant at Knott's Berry Farm. And the other is when I went over to Chris's place for a meal. These are the two times that I was like, yeah, this is cooking. This is how you do it. Also, Chris is just a really cool person and a very good DM, and it is an honor to do this show with them. But also, that casserole was fantastic.
Well, for Robin is definitely like, yeah, a really fun person I've gotten to know. I'm pretty sure they're the one who recommended that I join your guys' little podcast, so I think
I'm
Robin
pretty sure they
for
were,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the way Robin plays Zero that, like Charles was saying, is just chef's kiss there. Because, like, yeah, Robin doesn't really have a backstory for Zero, so they're just kind of going with, like, with what's happening in the moment. So I think that's really impressive. And then, yeah, Robin has been very helpful to me as someone who also has an interest in voice acting. So I appreciate them. And then as for Chris,
I know it's very hard to say nice things about Chris.
No, I shouldn't have a hard time because I'm not like you.
God, I hope not.
No, Chris, yeah, is a very good GM, DM, whatever you want to refer to them as. He has... I love his editing of all the episodes, honestly. Adding, like, the background noises, like, the story that's going on with Vlad that we're like, who the fuck is Obsidian's master? Everything that Chris has done so far for the podcast has been really good. So thank you, Chris. And also, yeah, thank you for letting me be part of this podcast. Because I know Robin suggested, but then yeah, Chris is the one that was just like, hey, I'm reaching out to you. Do you want to join this podcast? Which I was like, what? I've never really spoken to any of you before, but yeah, okay.
So as for me, Robin, you're one of my favorite people in the entire galaxy. plain and simple. Like, I adore you. I love your takes on animation. I love talking with you. And I don't tell you that enough. I don't tell any of you guys enough. Like, you're some of my favorite people in the entire galaxy, plain and simple. And I am just so proud of everything you've done, Robin. And I look up to you and admire you so much. And as for Chris, there is no Flat without Chris. You know, he edits, he puts us together, he gets the sounds, like, he is running most of the social media. Like, there is no Flat without Chris. And his hard work and dedication to this show is why there is a show. And we cannot say that enough. So, thank you guys, and we missed you very much. All right, do you all want to know who won? And I cannot believe half of this.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I lost with 202 points. Somehow, Colton and Charles tied.
Yeah, this seems accurate.
And I don't know how they tied with 290, and then Chris.
Chris.
No. I'm sorry. Jonathan Harker actually got 20 points. So we had to give a shout out to Jonathan Harker.
Good for him. He's currently asleep,
Yes.
Nice.
but I'll let him know when he wakes up.
And Jess, you won because of you killing me at the end there with 800, and can't read my number, so this is either 42 or 72, but regardless, you had over 800 points.
We did it.
Thanks to
think that-
Earth.
I think that means Jess would have won regardless, even without the 500 points. So
I know.
good job.
I also was doing that mental math.
I don't know how you and Colton both tied with the amount of points I was taking away from Charles throughout the game. But, thanks for playing my game, everybody. I hope you enjoyed Random Flat. If you want to hear more about this, or if you want to hear more of us just dissecting and breaking down sessions, I think that could be fun. Let us know. Join our Discord. Hey, check out our Twitter. It's For Light and Dice. And also, thank you all for joining me on my chaotic adventure. Thank you for going on this trip with me. It actually meant a lot. Thank you so much.
You can also find Hope on J Guys and Jedi, a now bi-weekly animation / live action TV podcast. You can find Jess on Roop Helps Pod Race, a queer Star Wars podcast that just returned.
Yeah.
You can find me on Gold Squadron Gaze, obviously, because that's the thing that I do. And you can find Colton in between the pages of your local library book. You can find their essence there.
No, fuck you.
Well,
You
also,
can find
yes.
Colton as part of Nerdsmith, and every Tuesday night painting miniatures on Paint of Heart, which is so much fun. And all those little ornaments I cross-stitched and embroidered for you, it was during Colton's show.
Oh, slay.
It's a fun little time where
There we go. Colton gets to join the ranks of the people with pluggables.
Yeah, so just come over to Nerdsmith and watch. We have a variety of things. We're doing a Vampire the Masquerade game next month. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be next month, February, which will be very fun. And then we'll have more stuff after. So, yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming and joining us for this. I know I know, we all want to play just as much as well, and, we can't wait for the next session, too. But until then, I was about to say our Geeky Waffle outro, whatever the fuck it's called. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our podcast via your favorite podcast platform of choice. Leave a review. Tell your friends about us, because we would certainly love to have more listeners listen to our crazy, chaotic show. If you like the music that is played on the show, definitely check out the composer Grushkov. They have created a lot of really amazing music inspired by the High Republic and other things. Would definitely check them out. You can find them on YouTube, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere you can buy music. And that's pretty much it, y'all. Hope you enjoy these behind the scenes episodes. We'll be coming up with some new story, new content very soon. The session is very close now. The excitement is increasing. I cannot wait, y'all. Anyway, thank you for listening, and may the Force be with you.